listener. This is Radio Nigeria Highland 101.5 FM Jos. So, welcome once more to this radio engagement brought to you by Ziva Community Initiative. The program deals with the role of artisanal and small-scale miners, ASM, in energy transition and climate change in Nigeria. This is where we bring insightful discussions on artisanal and small-scale mining practices, energy transition and climate change in Nigeria. I am Alright, listener, you're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Radio Nigeria Highland 101.5 FM Jos, and this is the Ziva Community Initiative Radio Engagement. Ziva Community Initiative Radio Engagement program on the project The Role of Artisanal and Small-Scale Miners The Role of Artisanal and Small-Scale Miners ASM in Energy Transition and Climate Change Mitigation in Nigeria. Our topic of discuss today is the socio-economic benefits of energy transition. How Nigeria can leverage this transformation to unlock growth, boost its economy, and improve livelihoods. My guest in the studio is Mr. Nansak Rimven, Chief Geologist, Nigeria Geological Survey. Rimven, Chief Geologist, Nigeria Geological Survey Agency, Jos Zonal Office. And like I said earlier, this program is divided into two segments. The first segment is the interview.
What we are faced with. I will say quite a few that we, aside that one, quite a few we face. The inconsistency of implementation of those policies, as I said, the policies or regulatory framework that we have very beautiful ones. But there is inconsistency in the implementation and enforcement. We also have limitations in the geoscientific data generation. I am a geoscientist, and I know that the first thing you do in every mineral exploration is generating geoscientific data. Without geoscientific data, nothing, you can't do anything. I have been a custodian of geoscientific data for about 15 to 16 years. Now, so I understand what it is. Then another challenge again that we have is informal or lack of formalization of the ASM, of the mining sector. The Nigerian mining sector is highly informal. We don't formalize it. Everybody comes, takes anything, and goes away, and nobody asks a question. Everybody comes, takes anything, and goes away, and nobody asks a question. The 13% derivation that we talk about, that is supposed to generate revenue to the solid mineral producing states, how is this being implemented? What are the data that you have to get that percentage from the federal allocation? Most of the states that produce the solid mineral, however, do not even have access to the amount of mineral or amount of resources being evacuated or extracted from that state. I can tell you, typical example is Plateau State. Nobody can tentatively tell you that this is what is coming out from Wase or Kanam local government alone. And it may interest you to know that we are blessed with the critical minerals. When we talk about the critical minerals, lithium, rare earth elements, and so on and so forth, cobalt, and so on and so forth. These are the minerals that move the world today. They are very key strategic minerals in terms of our defense industry, transport industry, renewable energy, and so on and so forth. So they are very critical. And these minerals are so abundant in Nigeria. Anywhere you move, they are available. Like Plateau State alone, I can just tentatively tell you, from a professional point of view, that Wase and Kanam is capable, if well regulated, as we said, well formalized, as we said, well the policy being implemented, is capable of feeding or supplying funds or allocating funds for the North Central Nigerian state alone, Wase and Kanam alone, if the resources in that place is anything to go by and if well regulated. But because we have these limitations and we have this informal way, nobody cares about anything, everybody comes and takes anything, then the instability also in our policy, our politics, is part of the problem. How peaceful are the environment for somebody to go in and mine is also a challenge. What are the critical infrastructure? Are there roads? Is there electricity for miners to transport their goods? For power to be generated in processing the minerals that we mine? All these are factors that contribute to the challenges the mineral sector will have, despite our numerous resources, which include very critical minerals that we have. There is no critical minerals, the critical mineral we talk about in the world today, that you cannot find in Nigeria. In fact, given Plateau State, I think to some extent, very hot. I think to some extent, very hot. What are we doing with that soil? We have not. We can create jobs from there. We can create economic diversity through renewable energy. We can equally mitigate climate. We can equally provide jobs to alleviate poverty. Energy. Renewable energy gives you access to energy even in the rural areas. And in the rural areas, the barman can operate, the barber can operate, the welder can operate. So many things can happen if we have access to energy in the rural areas. Even coming to the urban areas, we have those challenges. Sometime back, the national grid, of recent, we have had issues with the national grid. Just imagine that we have a solar farm in Jos alone. Because even Jos, no matter our weather, we still have our period of hot weather. You know, we still see the sun compared to even other European countries, other Asian countries that have established successfully solar energy, which is one of the renewable energy. But we haven't. And you can see the challenges we're even facing with this collapse of the national grid. So there are so many benefits that Nigeria could get from renewable energy, which we said is job creation is part of it. Support for even for mining activities. When we have power supply, mining activities can go on successfully if we have power supply, because we have listed power supply as one of those critical infrastructure that we need on ground for mining to really be successful. We can equally, there is also equal economic diversity, which we can benefit from renewable energy. There is equally climate change mitigation, which is very, very important to us. You can see what is happening in Jos now. The weather has suddenly changed compared to the 1980s. We that were born in the 70s, when we first came to Jos, it's not the same Jos that we knew as it is now. What's happening? Climate change. You can see what is happening to Lake Chad. You can see so many things. We can do that. A lot of things are on the plateau alone, not even the whole of Nigeria, that can mitigate this climate change. And
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Nansak. Okay, we've discussed energy transition boldly. Can we talk about another critical resource, which is the Nigerian solid mineral sector? How can this sector contribute significantly to economic growth now?
Well,
what we have, using what we have.
Yes, the mineral sector, the Nigerian mineral sector, as I said at the beginning of this introduction, that it is a very, very viable sector. In fact, I think we have not even done what we are supposed to do or we have not taken advantage of what God has given to us in terms of our natural and abundant mineral resources. I will give you quite a number of examples. Look at Chile. Chile, I think about 75% of Chile's economy is contributed by lithium. Look at Zambia. They've so much organized their copper sector that contributes over, I think it contributes over 75% to their GDP. Just copper alone. To be honest with you, yes, it may be sad, but I'm happy what is happening in the oil sector. I think it's good for us so that we can begin to think inward. You know, they said necessity is a mother of all inventions. Yes. I'll be very happy at the end of the day if this oil is drained completely. I'm sorry, maybe it's not part of this program, but I'm saying it so that Nigeria maybe will learn a lesson and we will bring our heads together to look at the resources we have, because we have not really taken time to harness these potentials. Why? Because at the end of every month, every governor will go to Abuja and sit down, and then allocation is shared to you. You collect money and you come back. So you don't care about what happens within your environment. However, if you are not having the opportunity of getting that money, you may begin to think that, look, let me find a way of getting revenue from the tin and columbite on the plateau. Let me begin to think of how the lead zinc was and canal can be formalized, or government to go into this business themselves, the state government to go into this business themselves using their special purpose SPV, special purpose vehicle. Yes, we just sit down and we collect that. So we have all, as I said, we have all the critical minerals in Plateau State, not even Nigeria alone, all the critical minerals. But Nigeria has not taken advantage of those minerals. Why? Because maybe part of the system of our government that we have a federal allocation every month and we don't bother about that. But there are certain benefits. That does not mean that we cannot talk about those benefits that as a country you can tap from the abundant resources we have. Now, if Nigeria has, with all our resources, I think we stand to benefit a lot in so many ways. One, our mineral resources can generate revenue for us, which is very, very critical to us. If we formalize, it can generate a lot of revenue for us. One, it can create jobs for us. Two, industrialization and value addition. Why am I saying this? If you look at the crisis we face, why we are even ranked as a developing country is because of our level of industrialization. Particularly, even the microphone we are using here are part of critical minerals. All the ions, your phones, everything in this studio as I talk, as enable us to transmit this program, is a function of critical minerals. And you can imagine these critical minerals are in Nigeria. Foreign investors come, carry them and process them somewhere else and sell the product back to us. So what is value addition? Process is in Nigeria, bring the industry in Nigeria, establish the industry in Nigeria, employ our locals to work in that industry, employ our locals to work in the processing plant, sell it back to our market. And we can at a point even export it out. The more you export and the less you import gives rise to the growth in your economy. Now, another one again, that we can attract foreign direct investment through the solid minerals that we have. I have talked about national development. I have talked about job creation, and then we can have diversity. The solid mineral sector can bring diversity to us. Diversification of technology, diversification of energy, in fact, diversification of virtually every aspect of our life with solid mineral. You can look at it that the processing plants, the business sector. I think there was a time that this Jos tomato, it has been relocated to Akatna. This Jos tomato, they use tin to do what? put it inside the tomato, package to package. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. To package their product. And where do we get tin from? We have that in Nigeria. Imagine that today we are able to get a processing plant, do value addition, not producing tin and selling it outside or taking it outside for processing. That we do value addition by bringing the factory here, producing the tin, producing the packaging item here, and then this tomato are packaged here. We wouldn't have those issues. And if again we don't have other challenges of insecurity, this particular company wouldn't have been taken to Canada. That's the truth. So as I said, diversification, job creation, industrialization and value addition, revenue generation, and then that gives us national development. In a nutshell, it gives us national development. All these factors give us national development. Then there is also environmental and social governance benefits that we can have again. Nigeria could be ranked if all these things are working according to how they are, according to the best international best practices. We can have, a social governance benefit from that. Then we can equally say, I said, we can equally attract foreign direct investment. I think these are some of the benefits that we can have in Nigeria if we truly harness the solid mineral sector.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nansak. All right, listen up. At this point in time, we shall be taking a break, and when we return, our phone lines will be made available for you, so you can call in and be part of the program. So do stay with us. When we come back, the phone line will be made available. Do stay with us. Hold on, sir.
Thank you.
Good question. I guess because I saw that you
Okay, good. Yes, yes. Good.
The second one, so I didn't want it to be repetitive, but I would really like to come back with if there are more examples, more lessons to learn.
Okay.
Because just cited, but let's see how it is.
You know, they are kind of interrelated, so
Yes.
sometimes you, in the course of talking to other, you enter the other question.
Revisit it.
Yeah, it's okay. Good afternoon, listener, and welcome back on Radio Nigeria Highland 101.5 FM. This is the Ziva Community Initiative Program project on radio that deals with the role of artisanal and small-scale miners (ASM) in energy transition and climate change mitigation in Nigeria. Don't forget we're streaming on www.radionigerianorthcentral.gov.ng, so you can stream us anywhere in the world and be on to the program. Alright, our topic of discuss today is socio-economic benefits of energy transition, how Nigeria can leverage this transformation to unlock growth, boost its economy, and improve livelihoods. My guest in the studio is Mr. Nansak Rimven, Chief Geologist, Nigeria Geological Survey Agency, JOS Zonal Office, and a key investor in the mining sector. Alright, and okay, our phone number to call is 070 35352560. That's 07035352560. Not forgetting that this program is brought to you by Ziva Community Initiative and is supported by the African Center for Energy Policy, ACEP. Alright, let us get back to our conversation while we wait for our callers to call in. Don't forget, callers, you can be part of the program if you have any comment or contribution, or you just want to ask Mr. Nansak here a question or two on our topic, which is socio-economic benefits of energy transition, how Nigeria can leverage this transformation to unlock growth, boost its economy, and improve livelihoods of Nigerians. Okay, the number to call once more is 070 35352560. That's 070 35352560.
2560. Call in and be part of the program. All right, sir. Okay, before we went on the break, you talked about the challenges inherent in growing our sector with the vast mineral resources that we have. You mentioned some of the problems or issues that we have, which is inconsistencies in implementation and enforcement. You talked about inconsistencies in data, in the informality of the sector itself, instability, and all that. And you also mentioned the potential inherent job opportunities and foreign direct investments that you mentioned. Okay, you also talked about. Okay, do I have a call coming in? Okay, 070-3535-2560. That's 070-3535-2560. Are there any case studies of success stories in investment in renewable energy? You mentioned Kenya loosely. I don't know if there are other case studies that you have that you can learn something from and grow our own economy and sector.
Yes, there are a lot of lessons from both developing and developed countries. Look at Indonesia, for example. Indonesia is the second world largest producer of geothermal energy, exceeding over 2,300 megawatts of electricity that is generated in Indonesia. And while their oil fields is being used to inject carbon into their depleted oil fields, Indonesia is one of the Asian countries. Indonesia is ranked the same to Nigeria, but you can see we are struggling with 5,000 megawatts, and Indonesia is producing over 2,300 megawatts from only just.
Sorry to cut you short there. I do believe I have a call coming in. Okay. Hello.
Which one?
Yes, hello. Alright, we seem to have lost that call. Do endeavor to call back. The number still remains 070-3535-2560. Call us and be part of the program. Hello. Yes, hello. Good afternoon and welcome on the program. Yes, welcome on the program. Who is on at this point? Can you tell us your name and where you're calling us from? Yes, we can hear you.
I'm not hearing you.
I can hear you. Hello? Hello, I can hear you.
Try this.
Hello? Alright, we seem to have lost that call. The network seems to be a bit dodgy, but keep trying. And the number still remains 070-3535-2560. That's 070-3535-2560. Alright, please go ahead.
Yes, I was giving an example with Indonesia being the second world's largest producer of geothermal energy, exceeding about 2,300 megawatts of electricity is being produced in Indonesia from geothermal energy alone. And its oil and gas field has been identified as potential sites for carbon capture and storage.
All right. Okay, I think we have a call. Sorry, sir. Hello. Good afternoon and welcome on the program. Okay, Alhaji Bola from Manchok. Please. spoke about the things you have spoken about, the challenges, the issues with people coming and cutting away with our mineral resources, and what government is going to do, the potential inheriting Plateau State to be better. Government is also calling on government to step in, sit down, calling all the stakeholders for them to sit down, have a roundtable meeting, and discuss how we can benefit from these mineral resources, how the local man, how the typical Plateau man can benefit from these resources instead of foreigners or unknown persons coming away and cutting away with these resources. Do you want to say something to, or respond to what you also said?
Yeah, yes, the mineral, and we will not want to be a little bit localized or join issues. I appreciate him for hammering on what we are faced with or what we are facing. What he has said is right. Invariably, what he said is right, and thank you very much for speaking and contributing to this program. But I wouldn't want us to a bit digress into other issues, and I wouldn't want us to be localized to Plateau State. This is Highland FM, it's a national radio program, and without the country being Nigeria, our loyalty and patriotism must first of all be declared to Nigeria before our state. Of course, I wouldn't want, it's typical of a Nigerian, your family first, then but I think we are on a national radio, and we first of all appreciate this country. Without this country, we wouldn't have had Plateau State. Having said that, what the Alhaji said, I think he's right. We have not really harnessed, and I can reason with his concern. I have expressed that concern too, that we have not really harnessed the potentials, and that is quite worrisome. I gave an example. I said Wase alone is capable of doing that, sustaining the whole of North Central states. But unfortunately, we are not even taking advantage of this opportunity. Maybe by creating some special purpose vehicles to even leverage on this and then make business as a government. We haven't. But that is not to say that as citizens we don't have a role to play. We have a lot of role to play. We can talk to the government. We can advise the government. And we can lend our voices as it's doing now. So I think thank you very much for that. Back to what I was saying before, some examples of countries that have lessons we can learn from developing countries. I talk about Indonesia, yes, generating about 2,300 megawatts of electricity from just geothermal energy alone. And its oil field is one of those possible sites or potential sites that have been identified for carbon capture and storage. Carbon capture and storage, as we know, is a process that is done by capturing the atmospheric carbon or going to sites where industries, for example, you have cement industry, for example, in Abajana in Kogi State. This factory alone, I think, is generating about is contributing about 30% of carbon into the atmosphere. Now there is what we call direct capture. There is what we call point source capture. Point source capture can be done in that company directly and taken to storage sites. What are those potential storage sites? They are oil fields, as I said, and then they are what? Basalts rocks. Yeah. And look at Plateau State. When you said Plateau, a highland with relatively flat top, and the geology of Plateau, we know a lot of basalts are on the plateau, igneous rocks. We have not even harnessed that potential. So we have better sites too for carbon capture and storage. You can look at Kenya. Kenya is generating about 800 megawatts of electricity from geothermal, and about 5,000 households are benefiting from that. Brazil is also using ethanol to generate electricity. China is one of them. Mexico is one of them. Turkey is one of them. Iceland, where the first carbon project was pioneered, has recorded a lot of successes. So these are top countries that are using geothermal, and Nigeria can learn from their lessons and harness this potential that we have even better than some of them, and to help us in our energy transition.
Okay, thank you very much. So which means it is possible, it is not impossible. So we need to have the will to do so. All right, let's look at artisanal and small-scale mining, ASM, and the role they
Yes, the artisanal and small scale mining. I think they are even the ones that are known for mining. Because how many formal mining are we doing in Nigeria? When they say miners, they refer to, most times refer to the ASM. Yes, Nigeria has put some policies. As I said, we are very good in making laws in this country. Honestly speaking, if you go through the ASM, you will be amazed. And why are these things in place and we are not this? Yet the artisanal and small scale mining is still being the way it is. I think I will classify them. Those ones are, to be honest with you, they are just scavengers. Yes, they are scavengers. I'm sorry I'm using that word. They are just scavengers, and I really sympathize with them because let me give you a typical example. In Jos, nobody that lives in Jos will tell you that he doesn't know about local miners, or we call them these Plateau miners. All those people you see gathering in those mining areas, sometimes when you're going to the airport, you see a lot of them, a colony of people like this. It's quite unfortunate that behind those people there is somebody who sits down. They call it overseer, or they call them is it overseer or sponsor? They use different terminologies to describe them. And that man is the middleman. That's the man that makes the money. The artisanal man is just a slave. Honestly speaking, it's quite unfortunate. He's just a slave. He has been left there helpless. So he goes in, risks his life, goes into the Loto. That pit they dig and they go in. It's called Loto mine. Yes, Loto mine. They go in there without any form of protection, guidance. I think this NGO is part of those. I think 2 weeks ago, how many people died in just south around this Sabongiran Canal? A mine collapse there. You always hear these cases. Those are the local miners we are talking about. Those Loto miners. They just go in without any form of protection. It's not formal, and as they go in, the mine collapses, and that's the grave. They move on. The people who are still alive, they escape. They go and start digging them down again, and life continues like that. That's the life of an artisanal small scale mining. Of course, but that does not mean that the artisanal scale mining does not have role that it plays in Nigeria. In the field of professionalism or field of geology, and mineral exploration, we call them pathfinders to us. Once you are looking for a mineral, and by the time you start seeing them scavenging around, that gives you an idea that there is a possibility. Because if there is nothing there, you will not see them there. So they are also pathfinders to us. That's one role they play. They are pathfinders to mineral exploration. As far as ASM is concerned, that's one. And they supply the critical minerals we talk about. There is no site that has solid mineral that has the deposit of solid mineral that you will not see ASM, artisanal and small scale mining activity going on. You will definitely see that. And they contribute to supplying these minerals because as they mine, they bring it out, and the so-called sponsor or overseer gets it from them at a very cheap rate. Very cheap, honestly. Takes it to the market and makes the huge amount of money. Gets the biggest profit you can think of. Buys generator for them, pay for their fueling for that generator. They go, they mine, they wash, they bring it to you. Pumping machines and all whatnot. His own is just to sit down. Sometimes he goes to the site to supervise them. When they finish, they bring it, he buys it from them at 10 naira and sell it at 2,000 naira. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that's at 10 naira. Look at the differences between 10 naira and 2,000 naira. I'm saying highly exorbitant. And another role they play again is the community empowerment. Whether we like it or not, the ASM has a role to play in the community empowerment. As we said, they provide jobs for the local people there. We cannot take away from this. You know how poverty is ravaging Nigeria. And as far as I'm concerned, artisanal and small scale mining is their source of living. That's their source of livelihood. That's how they feed their families. And also, those critical minerals that they supply us with, they bring out, though in a smaller quantity. If it were formalized, it would have been better than that. But yet, those minerals contribute to what? To transition to cleaner energy that we're talking about. So that is also a role. And another one again is that they provide local resource stewardships to themselves, at least to an extent. They are resourceful because they provide those local stewardship. Again, they also contribute to technology and innovations. They also contribute to development and value chains addition, and they also, at least to a very large extent, as I said, gives us idea to where these mineral deposits are. Sometimes when they come out, why am I saying this? That they help us identify mineral deposits where the scientists, the geoscientists, are not able to reach. When they come out with these minerals, for example, in most cases, precious stones. When they come out, you start asking them, where did you get this? You start telling you, in one place in Taraba, in so village. You now go there, and then you now carry out your investigation, and then you now see that these things are there. So they gave you the idea. So that is a role they play. So among all those, some of those roles, these are the ones that I know they play.
Thank you very much. All right, time is fast running out for us on today's edition of the program. If we can take one more call, we will take that call. 070-3535-2560. That's 070-3535-2560. All right, sir, quickly, in your opinion, what role does research, skill acquisition, training, and development play in preparing Nigerians, especially the Nigerian youth and the workforce, for the opportunities presented in the mining sector?
Yes, research and education can provide a lot of a lot of opportunities. One, it can bridge the gap for skills acquisition. A lot of our miners are on skill. Through research and education, research, innovation, and education, we can bridge that gap by training our local miners, or training those who are interested in the mining sector through research. It can also promote innovation. It can also strengthen technical education. It can also drive employment. Among others, it can also foster entrepreneurship. Those are some of the roles of research, education, and development in the solid mineral sector. As I said, promote innovation, strengthen technical education, driving employment. These are some of the. How do they do this? Through research, we can bring out new things. Yes. Before, nobody knows that. For example, I'll give you about tantalite. We just left it there. It was part of the gang that we mined tin and we throw them away. After some time, we realized that tantalite was important through research, and then we went back to getting tantalite from the west dumps that we have been carted away.
Thank you very much. All right, as time is fast running out on us on the program, before you leave the studio, if you had any recommendation to make in terms of key policy or initiative for immediate implementation to advance Nigeria's energy transition,
Yes.
the mining sector, what would it be and why?
I think just one. If the government can establish a national integrated energy and mining development authority, I think that will go a long way. A national integrated energy and mining development authority. And why this recommendation? Why? To unify and strategize the energy transition and mining sector. It will do that.
So what about the role of the AT?
Yes. NEATI, NEATI, of course, there are legal framework that guides NEATI, and there will also be legal framework that will guide this National Integrated Energy and Mining Development Authority, as I said. We are talking about energy and mining. NEATI only stops at the extractive industry. But this one is combining extractive industry and the energy. And to a very large extent, I will tell you, this one can play a supervisory role to even NEATI, can help NEATI gather information. NEATI, and the limitations of NEATI can be reached by the establishment of this authority, as I said.
Okay. Thank you very much. That will be a wonderful place to wrap up today's edition of the program. All right, listener, I want to thank you very much for joining in. But first of all, I want to thank you, my guest, Mr. Nansak Rimven, the Chief Geologist, Nigeria Geological Survey Agency, Zonal Office. I want to thank you, sir, for coming on the program and for sharing all these wonderful insights into Nigeria's energy transition and solid mineral sector.
Thank you very much. You're welcome, sir.
All right. It is clear that these sectors have the potential to transform our our economy if properly managed. I also want to thank the listener. Thank you out there for sharing your time with us on this program. I want to thank my callers, for those that tried to call in and couldn't get through, and for those that did get through. Alhaji Bola, thank you very much for your contribution on the program. I want to thank Ziva Community Initiative Group, the producers, and everybody behind the scene doing their bit to make this program a success. Thank you very much. My thanks to my duty continuity announcer, Juliet Yakwari. Thank you very much. Let's continue this discussion same time next week. This is a very important discussion. Let's continue with that discussion. So until next time, same time next week, stay informed, stay inspired. My name is Steve.